Welcome to Why They Play the Game, a show created to discuss the NBA on and off the court. I'm just one of your co hosts, Michael Eric Owens.
And I'm Ken Hayes.
What's up, my
What's
brother?
going on, Mike? We got a new champion.
Hey, we got
Got
new.
your
Hey, I'm
get.
representing now. I
I
got.
see. I was just about to say, get your hat on, shirt. Show them the
Yeah,
shirt,
got my.
Mike.
Yeah. I got the little Thunder shirt on. You know what I'm saying? I gotta tip my hat to him, man. Although, it wasn't the most prettiest series, and in some ways not even the most exciting series. But man, Ken, before I give my thoughts on it, being the homeboy here, while I'm
Right.
pulling
Let
this
me.
up, go ahead and give your thoughts on it, folks. And as Ken's gathering his thoughts, hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification button. That does the channel a lot of good. Share the channel with other folks so that we can build this channel. And we're trying to move toward really having some great conversations. The summer's coming up. Summer League is coming up. And we want you involved in it. So, Ken, talk about the series, man. What was your thoughts?
I thought the series. It was a good series, and I think, especially from a small market standpoint, you didn't have Boston, you didn't have LA, but man, you just saw two fan bases come out and support their teams. Number one, Indiana, a huge fan base. OKC, same
Mm-hmm.
there. And you
Mm-hmm.
just saw, even when they, let's just say if OKC was playing in Indiana, you saw, plenty of, fans, in the stands and, having the
Mm-hmm.
fan parties and things like that. So I really like that. Um, you just can't, you got to showcase other teams besides, the major markets. And you got to, really dig deep and just kind of just I'll use the word you know represent these teams in a way that they should be represented. They got good players, um, and the world needs to see that. But as far as the whole series of 7 games, to win 7 games, I'm sure the NBA was happy about that. Um, the one thing that I'll say, I'll get this out the way. When Tyrese went down earlier in the first quarter, I hated to see that. But I'm going to say this is that even if he, let's just say, didn't go down with that torn Achilles, I still think OKC would have won that game. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Indiana didn't go away in the first half when he went down. You got to give him credit for that. I saw that the intensity of the game. It was good. It was a good game, Mike. Until after halftime, um, I thought. I'll say this. Also, I thought OKC was the better team as far as talent was concerned. I think Indiana played better as a team than
Mm-hmm.
OKC,
Mm-hmm.
which um, you saw. I think I want to say there was almost 6, 7 players who averaged in double figures for Indiana. That's
Mm-hmm.
a good young team. They got
Mm-hmm.
they got a good nucleus. On the other end, let's go with the champions. I just think they're young also. They're going to grow. The thing after the championship is this going to be a dynasty? I don't see that in the NBA anymore because of the salary cap,
Yeah.
players moving and things like that. I just don't see that. But I predicted that OKC will win this series. There was a comment the last show that we did. She was an OKC fan. She said, "Oh, I'm hoping I was right about my prediction because she said I'm feeling nervous." I was like, I would too, but I still think OKC was going to pull it out, and they did. So, but overall, and the last thing I'll say, Mike, I think the ratings were down as far as viewership is concerned, which that disappoints me because you had two good teams playing out of their minds. So.
Yeah, I think they for the overall series, but I think Game 7 was one of the highest ratings that they've had in the last few years. So at
Okay.
least they got they got that turnout. What I'll say, you know, the thing I like about Indiana, and it's hard, folks, for me to like anything about Indiana. Y'all know how I feel about Indiana, but I give respect where the respect is due. And the thing I like about them, man, is what you're gonna get from Indiana.
Oh yeah,
Indiana is not a team that is, high one game and down the next. They have players that if one doesn't show up, like you said, Ken, somebody else is going to show up. They share the ball. And I felt like in this series, Indiana played to their true identity. OKC did not. If
okay.
you saw OKC play throughout the entire year, that's why they were heavy favorites going into this. Because if they had played and lived up to their identity, I think it might have went 5, in my opinion. So I think, given the fact that Indiana, you knew who they were, they played up to their identity, and OKC did not. It just shows you how much a better team OKC was. I mean, they had some games, man, where their star players struggled. And they're not like Indiana. They're not going to have 5 dudes in double figures. Man, how big was Alex Caruso? I
He
mean,
was huge. He was
man,
huge.
on them games that J Dub struggled, those games where SGA was being triple teamed, Caruso came through. I think he had 2 20-point games. His defense was elevated. I mean, Lou Dort was working so hard on the defensive end, so you really didn't get much from him offensively. Man, I'm telling you, Caruso was huge in that series, man.
Let
And
me
so go ahead.
no, you finish. I'll let you finish. I just want to.
I just wanted to reiterate that point, that for people that haven't seen them play, understand that there was only a few games in that series where they played close to their potential, and they still were able to, can, mainly because you talked about it, the talent that they have, the athleticism that they have, and the MVP. What a season for SGA, man. Leading scorer, MVP of the league, MVP of the Western Conference, MVP of the finals, man. Like, all NBA first team. Man, that's the GOAT stats right there, man. When we look back and we look at the players that have been able to do that, man. I mean, if he could have just, if he had won a cup, if they had to beat the Bucks for the cup and he got cup MVP and
Nah,
an
that didn't
all-star
happen.
MVP, you would say that's the greatest season ever for a basketball player. But man, I got to give it to him, man. He showed, okay, that he could carry a franchise to the title. There should be no doubt. I don't care if SGA don't win it again. He has shown you he can do what very few players have done. Get on my back and let me take you. And to be a young player like that, man, I take my hat to him, man, because he showed you. If you want to question, should he have been the MVP? Don't question it no more, because he's sitting with that ring on his finger. Oh, the ring being made right now, right? so,
Okay.
so man, I just think, I thought it was I didn't think it has as many exciting moments as we've had in past playoffs, but I think
Hmm.
that has a lot to do just with the style of the game, Ken. I mean, this was a full throttle 3-point shooting. Other than SGA and Siakam, you had guys that was just chunking up threes, and that's what this series was all about. But even when OKC struggled, because they did not shoot the three at all good, Ken, they still came out victorious. So,
So let me
um,
ask you this.
mhm.
So I'm gonna go opposite. Tell me who was your biggest disappointment on each team.
uh, well, I would tend to say, and I hate to even call it a disappointment, but I would say, I thought Wallace, having Wallace start,
Hmm.
changing up their starting, putting him on Siakam. Wallace is a player that comes off the bench, gives you energy and defense. I thought he was put in the wrong position. So the most disappointing to me, the person wasn't a player, it was the coach.
Oh,
It
my!
was a coach, man.
Oh my goodness!
Mark almost got out coached. he almost lost that series. Let's just be honest. And I mean, we can say, man, I believe if Halliburton had went down, they still would have won it. But Halliburton, you have to admit, he started that game on fire,
Oh,
dog.
right, he
He
did.
was 3 for 5. He was looking good. And so what I'm gonna say is, you go to a game 7, anything is possible. And the game before, with having the brakes beat off them, Indiana came in with serious confidence, man. So I'm not, listen, I respect the champs. I celebrate with them. Saw the parade; it was off the chain. Listen, but what I'm gonna say to you like this, I cannot sit up here and say that if Halliburton had been there, it might have been it might not have been the outcome that I desired. Um, but Ken, no, I my disappointment for the OKC, I just thought them panicking, starting out, switching their lineup that they had all year long, showed a sign of weakness. I felt they put Wallace in the wrong position, and Siakam was able to get off, and they were able to make this a series because of that. And you could see in the end what they do. They went back to their original lineup, right?
So
Um,
who was your disappointment on Indiana side?
oh, Turner,
Okay,
without a doubt. I mean,
all right,
Turner, Ken, we talked about it we said,
yeah,
hold on, it ain't, Turner's too good. He's not gonna not show up for 7 games. We figured he's gonna have a monster game, and can he just,
just
my God. So what
I,
about you? What about
I,
you for each
so
team?
I'll start where you ended. Yeah, Turner was my biggest disappointment. I thought his size, he could shoot the three. I mean, he could bang the boards and just be a defense a stopper. He just faded. I mean, game one, game two, it just kind of like going downhill after each game. And I just thought that, and I know that from what they say that he was dealing with some health issues, so
Mm,
maybe that played a part in it. But it just, I mean,
yeah,
it just went downhill from game one.
yeah.
On the other side, Mike, I'm gonna say this: Chet Holmgren was, to me, a
Mm,
disappointment.
mm,
I just thought that um, he wasn't ready for the moment. I thought that he kind of got bullied a little bit, as far as I'm concerned, and just didn't play. I'm gonna say tough enough for me. Um, there were was it game one or game two? I can't remember. Had 4 points, and he was like a -8 or 10 for that game. I
mm.
was just like, I'm looking at it, it's like, man, come on. I mean, he came back and had some, let's just say, decent scoring games, but I just thought um, his presence wasn't there as far as it in the middle. And I know he's not the, let's just say, banger that we used to see back in the '90s or anything like that. But I just thought that he was MIA the majority of the series for me.
Well, if you look at the breakdown, Ken, just to validate your point, the games they lost, oh, he was in single digits, man. He was like, and he played a lot of minutes. And
Right,
so, I mean, we
exactly.
discussed that. I think off mic, we discussed that. Like, man, like, why this dude giving you 4 points or 9 points, and he's playing 26, 27 minutes? We're saying, hey, give that time to somebody else.
Somebody
And
else,
so,
right?
I would agree with you. I thought he did not have a good series, man. When he
He
showed up, he was impactful, and they needed that, and they won those games. But those games where he and again, Ken, I mean, we can put Hardenstein in the same thing. I mean, where was Hardenstein at? Let's be honest. The big man in these series, if you want to talk about Turner, Hardenstein, and Chet, man, I was expecting more.
more.
The little floater from Hardenstein, I don't know where that went. I mean, I'm like, where's the
It
floater at,
disappeared.
man? Yeah,
The magic act.
I'm like, he killing everybody throughout the whole, ever since he was with the Thunder, man, with the floater, and he wasn't even shooting it, man. So it was, I would agree with you on those 2 points. And then to speak to the dynasty, man, people are prisoners of the moment.
Yeah.
Man, like, okay, we happy they won a title. We got a new champion. It's up to them to defend it. But to be sitting up here saying that this is going to be a dynasty that they're going to run, man, come on, stop it. Um, We haven't had a repeated champion since when?
Cool.
Come on, since the Golden State
Golden
Warriors, correct?
State, yeah, Golden
So
State,
I'm
yeah.
saying like every year we didn't have somebody different. There's a reason for that. People have to understand. Okay, they just got done playing June. Summer league starts July. Okay, and training camp starts September. Okay, the Thunder, um, and in Indiana, listen, they have played a lot of basketball. And to turn around and come back and try to go all the way back, that's why it's great, not good teams, great teams repeat. Those teams that have multiple superstars or dominant, all-time players, man. The Lakers, the Celtics, the Bulls. I mean, you talking, man, you can
Houston,
you yeah, Houston, you talking legendary players, right?
right.
Nah, man. We don't have that in the league anymore. And I mean, we could even say how many players on OKC, and we know their career is young, but we still can probably, surmise a little bit. So, how many players on OKC right now would you say are future Hall of Famers?
One.
Okay, okay, and Indiana.
Hmm. I can't give you one.
You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying when you talk about repeating, the guys that have repeated, they're in that 75 number. And they are, what I'm saying? They're in that 75 number, man. And these are superstars, man. And so I've loved the two small markets. I love that. I love the parity of the league and how it's spread out now that it's anybody's ball game. Man, and this is what I'm trying to say, Cam. Prisoners of the moment. Okay. So Kevin Durant gets traded to
Oh,
Houston.
we
So
moving
now,
on.
now Houston is favored to win the title. Okay. The same thing happened when he went to the Suns. And it's like it's like, man, who makes up all of this stuff, man? Why
I'll
they play the game, baby?
I'll say this, Mike, is that seeing that betting and gambling has entered
Mhm.
into football, basketball, baseball, all sports. That that is the the behind the scenes thing that everybody
Mhm.
wants to know. What's the odds of a team winning? Next year and things like that. Odds are already out. Houston, I think their odds went up to win.
Mhm.
To win the championship. I don't know. Well, I see why, but um, I don't get it. But free agency is going to start at I think 5 o'clock Eastern time, and you'll see a lot of player movements. I heard today that Harden just received an extension, 81 million for 2 years.
Where he's gonna go?
Right,
Don't
right,
nobody want.
exactly.
No, don't nobody want. Nah, man, because you know the thing about free agency, Ken. Those mega players like that. You're talking about changing up your whole. To get a dude like that, what you giving up?
Right. Then I heard
Okay,
LeBron just opt into his player option for about 52 million. Nas Reed signed a
that's about 30 million over what he should get paid. I'm gonna say this, Ken. You're gonna pay a
come on,
guy in his
something.
22nd year $50 million who is not going to give you a championship. I like LeBron, love his game, but he's in year 22. He's Lakers are not going back to the
No,
championship. You're gonna pay him 50 some million dollars, man. You need to be the Lakers need to be regrouping for post LeBron era.
I can't disagree with that. Nas Reed just signed a 3 year.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know the figure off the top of my head, but he just signed. So like I said, there is not going to be a lot of player moving from team to team because of cap reasons and things like that. But to sign your own, yeah, if you want to, uh, I think you'll see. I think you'll see a lot of activity day 1 and 2, but after that, it'll start to die down. Then the other.
Yeah, he's not
Go
to
ahead.
cut you off, but he signed a 5-year deal for
Oh,
125 million.
okay. Ooh, ooh,
So
that's a
he got a
lot.
little paper.
Yeah.
He earned some paper, but I was disappointed in his playoff performance. I have to admit it. And Nas is better than that, and he did not
Come
compete
through.
in my it wasn't that it was a flop. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he you felt him, but you didn't feel him like you feel him during the normal season, right? Like he Nas Reed, he once he get going on you, man, he can ruin your day. So, but he got that, he earned it. Five
Yeah.
million, 125,
Mm.
but yeah, so Ken, just close out on the Thunder. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder for winning the championship. They're the champs. Got to respect them all year. Got to defend the crown. We'll see what's going to happen in the West, and it's going to be a battle, man. Because I think if anything, what OKC showed you was that we don't need three superstars. We have players that play hard, play together. We do have a superstar in SGA. He's our leader. And small market teams, Ken, the Bucks proved it. Denver proved it. Think about the teams, man. Denver, Milwaukee, you got OKC. I mean, when you look at these small market teams, they're making a statement that we can compete with the New York, with the LA, with the
Oh yeah.
Boston. And but I do think that if Thunder fans are hoping for a 60-win season where they cruise through the playoffs and get back there and win it, I think you better chalk this up as a dream season, which it was in franchise history. First one ever won being we know they won one as the Supersonics, but they never won one as the Thunder. And so it's this is historical, and the city's excited. So just on that note, give them their
Oh
props.
yeah.
And but free agency, as you say, Ken, is underway. Kevin Durant. Let's talk a little bit about the Kevin Durant trade, man. And
All right.
Kevin is going to be 37. Okay, he's 37. You probably, I mean, he's probably got a few years left.
Right.
Uh, and what they gave up, man, I wouldn't have gave up Jalen.
Jalen.
Uh, I would not have given him up. Now that young boy has too much talent, too much ability. People say, well, he doesn't play defense. This day, man, listen. He's young. I mean, he's young. He's got so much. That's like giving up Ja. I mean, his game is the same way. And I also think, Ken, he was their best offensive player. So they gave him up. Now, okay, they got Kevin. Okay, let's just stay right there for a moment. But then they gave up their best defensive wing. They gave up Dylan Brooks. And although Dylan Brooks can be Dylan Brooks plays hard. And he's always on your best man. He's a vocal leader on that team. Kev is not a vocal leader like that. Okay.
That's just not him.
So I was shocked, man, when I saw I said, man, they gave up Dylan Brooks. So so where's the D? That's what I'm trying to say. Well, you ain't gonna get D from Kev. You're not gonna get D from Van Fleet. Thompson, you probably get some D. Shamgoon, you really ain't gonna
Nah.
get them. So I'm saying, like, where I feel like people are not really looking at what they gave up, not only their best offensive player, but their best defensive wing player. So I'm saying, like, and with maturity, Thompson is a young player. He's a good defensive player, but he's a young player. To me, I just don't feel like this takes Houston over the top. I really don't. And I think it might turn out
Heard him.
not too good, man. Not too good, Cam.
Mike. So let me go back some years. Kevin forced his way out of Brooklyn, forced his way out of Phoenix. I don't think he has enough years to force his way out of Houston. I mean, for me, that speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kevin Durant is probably top 20 player of all time. Minimum. Probably really top 15. But, um, down the stretch, he's going to be their closer. They didn't have a closer, which but like you said, to give up, I'll say your best offensive and defensive player, that's a little, that's a little bit. And then the other thing, Mike, is that Kevin Durant wants an extension for, from what I
Oh yeah.
hear,
Oh
two
yeah.
years for
Mm-hmm.
122 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a lot of money for a play. What
It
he's been in the
is,
league,
man.
what 18 seasons.
Yeah, I think it's
So,
18. He's 30. He's gonna be 37.
so that's a lot. So I mean, eh, Kevin is not going to bring, let's just say, the leadership that I think Houston is dependent on. That's just not Kevin Durant. You know, I want to show up and I want to ball. That's just him,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what he's going to do. But as far as being a vocal leader or lead by example, you know, you could say he's going to lead by example how he plays. And then the other thing, Mike, is the question mark for me is, will he stay healthy?
Mm. Mm.
That's it. Will he stay healthy?
That's that. I'm knocking on wood, and that's a huge question because if anything happens to Kev, it's a wrap. It's a wrap because where your offense comes from. I mean, they're going to be dependent on him so much for their offense. I mean, Kev is probably going to have to average 27, 28 a game. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
he's going to have to get busy, and I don't know, if he has that in him for. Yeah, we know he's not going to play 82. So
no,
if they get 65 out of it, um, that might be where it is. I just don't think they, man. I just think nights that he does not play. My question is,
they're gonna
who
struggle
is
offensively.
going to score? And it's not just the score; it's what Kev brings. I mean, think about it. You can't leave Kev open.
Oh
Yeah, I mean,
no,
you crazy leave him open, man. So you got to know where he's at. You got to double team him. That's going to help with other guys. Kev's a great passer too, out of the double team. So but once when he's not there, so that is, man. I just, again, I don't know, man. I know the temptation because he had to get out of Phoenix. I mean, let's be honest. He had to get
well,
out of Phoenix, man. If
Mike,
I was him, I would want to get out of Phoenix. We can say some things about some other stuff again, but I'm telling you, I'd have
well,
been,
Mike.
man, let me up out of Phoenix, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna let I'll let you have that one. But ask Devin Booker how he feel right about now.
Well, you know, uh, man, I want D Book to stay in Phoenix, man, because you know why I want him to stay in Phoenix, man, because I love players that's good players like he is
Hmm.
that stay with their franchise and ride it out. And when you think about the Phoenix Suns, you think about the great players. His name is up there, Mount Rushmore. Rushmore. His name is up there. The problem I have is Phoenix won't bring anybody around him to compliment him. You bring in Kevin. Well, he really he go to the second spot now. And to me, if you surround D Book with the right players, he can take you there. But he has
Hmm.
never had the right players around him, man. He's one of those players that you want. He's like, to me, he's like Dame. Like, I wanted to see Dame
Oh,
win, right?
okay.
Because they work so hard, they're so faithful to their organizations, and he doesn't get the support. Not that he's had terrible players around him. That's not what I'm saying. But you need the mix of the right players, is what I'm
That's
saying.
true.
And for him, I just never felt he had that mix of the right combination around him for him to really do what he needs to do to elevate the team to a championship. And um, think about the people that have slid in and out of there, man. Chris
Oh man,
Paul and
yeah.
Durant, and I mean, think about the guys that, and now you got this
Bill.
contract with Bill that, oh man, that was, man, that, okay. And I'm not gonna say nothing about Bradley Beal, man, because I like Bradley Beal as an offensive player, but
Oh
Bradley
yeah,
Beal
get
only
down.
gives you offense, and to bring him along with Kevin, man, that was just. That was ridiculous. And he couldn't, and he, because of his injuries, you don't want to blame anybody for being injured, but he couldn't come on the court, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Hey, if you can't show up at your job, folks don't want to blame you, but they not gonna pay you though. That's the real world, right?
I guess. Yeah.
That's the real world. So man, I don't understand the trade. I understand the temptation to get it, but I don't. I'm not on Houston bandwagon that I think now that they have KD that they're automatically champions.
No.
So anything else about free agencies you want to address? I know the Bucks has the Bucks had to
Low.
draft. They drafted the young man out of Serbia. I guess he's going by Bogey is his nickname. Um, but I'm gonna give the kid a chance, man, because like I say, he's out of that same Serbian pipeline that produced Jokic. And we know Jokic was in the second round, 41st pick, and nobody thought he was going to be nothing. So, what I'm saying is, when Giannis came to the league, everybody thought this skinny kid, yeah, he going to be all right. Now, different narrative. So, what I'm saying is, don't discount this young fella because
Okay.
he has had all of the skills and the training and we say he's skinny now. We said that about Giannis, and all of a sudden, boom! You got this Greek god running around now. So I'm saying, like, you might have this Serbian god running around. So I'm saying, give this kid a chance. Let's see what he made of. Give him some time to develop. He need time to develop. Jokic had time. Giannis needed time to develop. We can look at all of these cats and say it took them several years, but when they started to announce themselves, all we heard was two-time MVP. Okay,
Mike,
Finals MVP. So,
I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna give him time to develop. I
okay.
just don't see it, Mike, right about now.
But did
From the
you see it
little,
with Giannis? Did you see it with Jokic?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, that's what
No,
I'm saying, Kim.
but
Like
yeah, but that's
you see,
that's wishing on a star. But that's I'm gonna let you go. Let you
I'm,
do it.
I'm gonna say like this, man. Them boys coming from that side of the world, man. They can play basketball, and playing in those leagues over there. A lot of times the league's a lot physical. You can't you can't you can't spread. There's no 3 seconds, and so the league is clogged all the time. There's less space. I mean, Giannis talked about that. The difference between the European game is just the space that, man, you have so much space in the NBA. You don't have that. So a lot of times when these guys come over, they can have relative success. I'm not saying he's going to turn out to be an MVP, this, that, and the other thing,
Right, I
but I
got you.
think he has the potential to shock a lot of people. And so we'll
I
we'll give him time and see what happens.
Mike, I'll say this. Um, he reminds me of a young cool coach that played for
Oh,
Chicago.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. If he turn
yeah.
out like that, he gonna be nice.
So
Now
that's I
we
mean,
know Kukos wasn't no joke. Tony wasn't.
so
Tony,
yeah.
hey, Tony was cold. Now Tony got some rings on his finger.
Oh yeah, because right because of the go, but I mean that's the difference too. I just think he's going to be more of a spotted three point shooter. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Ken, in closing, I want to talk a little bit about well, first of all, two things. The breaking news with Malik Beasley.
Ooh,
And we don't want to, we always got to say this is all allegedly.
or
He hasn't
allegations
been
or
arrested or anything like that. However, I do know when the U.S. Attorney's Office, when they
get
start an
involved.
investigation,
That's not
and
a
when
good
you
thing.
hear, and usually when you hear about an investigation, Ken, it didn't already went on for a
Oh
while.
right, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? They didn't already
Again,
cross their T's and dot their I's. So when they usually come, um,
they come with receipts.
oh man, I just hope because he's just about to sign that new deal with Detroit, and that's on hold right now, man. And
Mm.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Malik Beasley. I've always been a fan of him, um, and I was so happy with his success in Detroit and how he brought, some veteran leadership and how he
Right.
shot the ball. I mean, he was only Anthony Edwards, I think, hit the most threes, which was 320, and Malik was 319. So
Okay.
he was right up
Right
there
there.
with hitting all the most threes in the last year. But Ken, these allegations though are doing when he was with the Bucks.
I don't know.
Mm.
Mike, let me say this, and I'm gonna try to be as, let's just say, conservative as much as possible. I hope what they
Yeah,
said that he allegedly did, I hope it's wrong,
man. I
because
hope it can. Go
you
ahead,
just
Ken.
don't want to be involved in something like that. And the thing about it is that he played well last year for Detroit. You talked about his leadership and trying to be more of a complete player. Just not known just for, let's just say, a shooter or a 3-point shooter. So, and I just hope it's just not true. I mean, as a person, we don't know him, but he seemed like he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, it seemed like a real
Yeah,
cool brother, man.
and so
Hmm.
I just hope that um, this is just not true, and that
Ken,
things
I'm
will work themselves out.
Ken,
But
I'm along the same lines with you, man. And I hate that it happened now, man, that he was about to
so
sign.
right,
Now he can't sign. Now the other, GMs and everybody in the league looking at him like, what is this going? So I hope they give some type of resolution like soon, that they don't try to drag this out, man, and ruin this man's career just on allegations. You see what I'm saying? Like
I got
to
you. Right,
me, to me, man, you don't come out with something like that unless you about to charge. Okay, because what you didn't did, you tainted him, man, and people are like questioning whether or not it's true, this, then the other thing. Clubs don't want to spend that money on him now over what? Allegations.
right.
I have a problem with that, man. If you had that, they should have just came out if they knew when we gonna charge him. Why you drop that? You know what I'm saying? You messed him up. Like he can't.
You
If we
can't do
say he
anything.
innocent to proven guilty, well,
Right.
no, because when you drop that, everybody's leaning toward, yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. So no, man, I disagree with that move on their part, man, because this is a delicate situation. You're talking
It
about a
is.
man, Ken, you talking about a man losing millions.
Hmm.
So what happens if they drag this thing out, he doesn't get signed, he loses out on his money, other teams won't pick him up, and then they come out and they say they didn't have enough information to
Ooh,
press
man.
charges, so they just go.
Yeah.
What? And they just gonna keep it moving. They
Right.
don't care about what happens to Malik, man. So yeah, I have a serious problem with that, Ken. And I'm like you. I just hope it is not true, man,
Yeah.
because it couldn't happen to a better dude getting a deal, man. Coming doing the league minimum with the Bucks, then getting that 1 year deal. He worked his way back up
Right.
to, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. In closing, Ken, and this is something I haven't even talked to Ken about this, but I'm gonna bring it up because I want to see his understanding of what the King said. LeBron James said that he doesn't know why people are obsessed with ring culture.
Oh,
And so and that people should not be obsessed with ring culture because you can be great without the rings. And I agree with him on that part. You
right.
can
I think right.
greatness has nothing to do with rings, but um my concern is that now you downplaying championships when you left Miami to do what? Win championships, right? That's why he left Cleveland, right?
Hmm.
He said he couldn't
Right.
win the champ, so he went.
To
So,
Miami.
so what happens with champ? That's ring, right? So, Ken, what was your thoughts, man, when you heard
And
that?
then everybody, oh man, you saw so many shows and going back and forth. Who's a great player? Who's not a great player? If you haven't won a ring, you're not a great player. I'm just like, the thing about it is that I think talent speaks for itself, and and I'm a pivot just a little bit. Um, I don't know if people remember Andre Dawson played for the
Mm,
Chicago Cubs. They they were in last place um, at the end of the year. But Andre Dawson was the MVP.
mm,
Never won a
mm,
ring, I don't believe, but one of the greatest players that ever played the game. So let me switch back to the NBA. You got a guy like Barkley, probably in top 10, top 15 all time. Never won a ring, but one of the greatest players that ever played a game. So I mean, for me, I thought LeBron was playing down as far as the number of rings that he has to elevate himself up to say the state that I should be one of the greatest players that ever played the game. LeBron is a great player. Not, I mean, you can't take that away from him. To play this long,
Mm-hmm.
to break these records and things like that, you have to be great. There's no getting around that. But I think that I don't. For me, Mike, personally, I just look what the player has done. You can win all the rings you want to, but are you a great player? So I look at Robert Ory. He's won 7 rings. Is Robert Ory a great player? Good player,
Good
but
player. Mm-hmm.
right. So that's how I look at it, Mike. What about you?
Yeah, this is LeBron, in my opinion, conceding that he can't be the GOAT.
Oh,
This is the workaround argument in that I didn't get 6. That's really LeBron wants to be known as the GOAT. He said it himself. He said, "I won this championship in Cleveland, not ring. I won this championship in Cleveland, ring, and now that makes me I should be considered the GOAT." That's what he said. His words. So the ring made him the GOAT. Now he's saying that the ring shouldn't matter. See,
right.
this is first of all, um, the modern fan has created ring culture. Like
Okay.
Ken,
Yeah.
for when we grew up, man, we
I
didn't
mean,
ring championship. That's a team thing. That's how
right.
we always saw it. It's a team thing. We never talked about the best player being the best team. That was never even in our conscience. We looked at the individual, right? And we thought Marcus Johnson was great. You see what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah,
Right.
we looked at players, Junior Bridgman, Tiny Nate. We looked at all these
Right.
Magic and Bird and all. Great. We didn't say, well, he's not great because they don't have a ring. That didn't even come into the conversation.
Right.
That has come into the conversation because people have been trying to make an argument for LeBron James to be the GOAT. And the only thing that stands in his way, they think he has the numbers, but he doesn't have the rings. See, and the for the GOAT, we talk about Michael Jeffrey Jordan. For him to be the GOAT, it was never about rings, man. It was about how he played and what he did. Now the rings just came along with it, but he was out there just dogging folks for years,
Oh,
dominating. Okay, and he didn't. In no time in Michael's career did he disappear. No time in Michael, even when the Bulls were just coming up, that young brother was out there hanging folks. What did Larry Bird say? That was Jesus in sneakers. That was God in sneakers. You see what I'm saying? That young boy was. There is a argument there, Ken, that he just can't win, and so he's at the end of his career. He's seeing it. He knows he's not going to get 2 more rings. He understands
that's
that.
like
He knows he's not going to even get one more where Kobe was at. He understands that. So what he's trying to say, and I don't disagree with him. I don't disagree with LeBron. The fact is that rings have nothing to do with saying who's great or who isn't. But you have to look at your fans and how they tried to make that argument for you and the things that you have said about the rings and ring culture that has, it's like, the calling the what does it say? The black calling the kettle black.
kettle black.
You see what I'm saying? Like, bro,
Right.
like you created this whole thing, and the debate has come on. Well, Michael got 6. He never went to Game 7. He 6 MVPs. All. Let's talk about defensive players of the year. Let's talk about scoring titles. Let's talk about MVPs. I mean, if you want to stack, let's talk about the impact of the game and then the eye test of the game and how the game was revolutionized and how you wearing 2-3 when you come in the league because you idolizing the man now that you say you greater than. Come on,
Oh,
Brian. Come on, King. We love you, King, but I don't. I think you want to stay away from that argument,
right.
and
It's a
nobody's saying.
non-argument.
Listen, Ken, who's saying that none of these players are great? That's what I want
Right.
to say. I hear all this time like, We don't think Steve Nash was a great player. Yeah, I think Steve Nash was a great player. I thought Kobe should have won the MVP that year, but that's a whole nother thing. But
Right.
Steve Nash was a dog when he was on the court. We can even talk about Dan Marley. We can talk about
Oh,
cats that we saw that were good, that we loved, man. That and we
Paul
didn't
West Paul.
come on. We didn't even come on, man. We didn't attach no Bobby Jones. We didn't attach
Oh
no,
man.
you see what I'm saying, Ken? We can go down history lane now for some of these young boys. We talked about how great these players were, man. And so don't sit up here and tell us that we wrapped up with the ring culture. We never been.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got Summer League coming up, Ken. What are you looking forward to seeing some of these young players? Did you think okay, first of all, how did you think this draft compared to other? Did you think this was a very talented draft, or did you think what did you think?
Mike, I'll say this. I thought the draft was kind of not, for me, not exciting. And why I say that is that, you had a lot of freshmen coming out. I'm gonna say this, and people are gonna probably hate on this. Mike, I think that it, college players should have to play 2, 3 years, and before people kill me on it, is that these some of these players are not ready, Mike. They just not ready for the NBA. Uh, you average you average 12 points a game, and then you think an NBA prospect. I'm like, really? So I just think that the more time that you spend in college on that level, or maybe even G League, that you
Yeah,
develop your game, and when you come into
yeah,
the NBA, let's just say you're uh, you're ready to play on
hmm
that level. So, but it was a lot of to me a lot of players coming out because they wanted to get that money. I mean, uh, it just seems to me that it's too the talent is drying up because these players are not being developed the right way. So that's how I look at it.
yeah. I don't think. I mean, you can make an argument. The first five players you might, but Ken, I don't. Some of those players that got picked in the second round are just as good as those players that were picked in the top 10. I'm just gonna be honest, man. You usually have that big drop off, right? You
Right.
have that, when you get to that 15th pick after that, and when you hit second round, then you're really dealing with some players that need a lot of development. Ken, to me, that other than the oh man, I maybe the top 7 or 8. And even these players, even Cooper Flag needs major development. He's not ready to come. Cooper Flag is blessed to go to Dallas. We can talk about
Oh
how
yeah.
that was an inside job, but this and the other thing, how they got to pick. That's for another show. Because if he had a went to Washington,
Oh man, stop.
okay, like look at what Paolo did when he went. Could he do in Washington what Paolo did in Orlando? No, they're not the same player. You can't tell me Cooper Flag was as good as Paulo when he came out. Can't tell me that he gonna have that sort of dominant impact. Second year All Star, All Star. Do we see that for Cooper Flag? No, we don't. I seen analysts talk about he's probably, going to be a 15, 16 point, few rebounds, blah 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 blah. This is not a this and man, when people compare him to LeBron, man, I wanted to break my TV. Stop it.
Man,
Man, do you
stop.
when the king came out of high school, you were like,
Right. Mm-mm.
this
Mm-mm.
dude is no, no, no. You knew you know what? When they called him the chosen one, they were correct. Don't
Oh
tell
yeah.
me, don't tell me this dude. No, man, we haven't had a player come out. Kobe didn't even come out like LeBron. So stop it. No. So Ken, to me, I kind of agree with you. I just don't see with the talent. I think G League is where I would like to see players go to get developed. College is not developing players for the NBA. They're just not. The talent is not there. The competition is not there. I don't think the rigor is there. I just don't see. I don't. See, I think the G League is a better destination for players to come out if they have some potential. Um, that's where they need to be developed at, and and I think one day, Ken, that's going to turn into the pipeline
for
for
the NBA.
yeah, it's definitely because it's not in college, man. And now you got players switching all over the place. They
All right,
one
right.
year here, they one
I
year
didn't want
there.
to get into that, but we'd be here all
Yeah,
day, Mike. So I didn't want
exactly.
to.
So how you developing players like that? But
Right.
anyway, Ken, last word, my brother.
So, Mike, I know you in OKC. So, what was the atmosphere like?
Madness, man. It was, man. The city was on fire, man. They matter of fact, they shut the city down, man. Employees didn't have to come to work.
Oh
It
my!
was, man. Oh yeah, man. It was magnificent. The parade was, of course, I didn't go to the parade. I watched it on TV. You know what I mean? I can't. I don't like to be around thousands of people like that. But that's
I
just a
thought maybe
personal
you was
anxiety.
at the parade smoking cigars.
Oh, oh no, I had my cigar now. you know, no doubt, man. But the city, man, is so excited for the Thunder, man, and it really, I think, put OKC on the map. And so, hopefully, economically, as you know, Ken, you bring a
It's
championship,
huge.
you bring a lot of new economic development to the city. So, hoping all that, man, is going to take place. But nah, man, this place was crazy,
You're good.
crazy, man. And we
Glad
only
to hear
had
that.
one person shot, bro, and
Yeah,
they
that's enough.
survived. So yeah,
Uh,
that's we the only one they survived. So we
mm,
usually
yeah,
there's riots and fights
was
and this
right.
and
I
that.
don't
So it was
understand that, but that's. I mean,
I know. So we
yeah.
had relatively calm, man, but it's a beautiful thing for OKC, man. Well deserved, and
Okay.
the city is still buzzing, bro.
Okay. Good. Glad to hear that.
And last word, brother.
Mike, I'll say this is that I think Indiana and OKC did the NBA
Mm,
a solid in how they played this finals, and I hope to see the next finals that it will be played that way also.
absolutely, absolutely. And we did not get into, but we will in our next episode talking a little bit about the consistent and unfortunate Achilles tendon
Ooh,
issues that are happening in the NBA. We'll get into that and get into that more, folks. Thank you so much. As always, the world of sports unites us. Let us take this unity into our everyday life. This is why they play the game.